Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to go over the daily uranium technical analysis update. I'll give you my opinion. Just looking at some of those, almost everything looks like it's in the red and it's of down a good quantity. So I'll give you my opinion here. Please don't use it as advice, and we'll just let the charts do the talking. We've got a bearish engulfing here. Usually that means you want to head lower. And we headed lower. We've got a nice good wick at the bottom here. Is this the return move, and can we start to move up? We'll find out. We will find out over this next week or so. Lots of selling pressure today in a lot of these stocks, companies. But this one's holding on. It's got a little wick at the bottom. Hopefully we can get some buyers to step in and push it a little bit higher. But the sector's having a rough time, definitely. URNM getting sold off. What I like to see here is getting some wicks on the bottom here, so where the buyers start to come in and buy this thing back up. It didn't finish completely on the, completely to the downside. It wasn't, full sell mode, but the selling pressure was quite strong today, and we only have a little wick at the bottom. We'll see if we can start finding some support here and start basing out. And hopefully that's something that we do. Bannerman, looking at this guy, I mean, I do like the little wicks at the bottom. It means that there's a little bit of buying pressure in there, but still, it's a pretty large down day of minus 11.26. 17 cents is where I said that we might find some support, 16, 17 cents. That's right in this zone over here. So we are going to use that support area and see if we have support. We also have this support line coming below it. So hopefully we can find some wicks at the bottom and start getting these to get bought back up. Goviax, it's got a hammer pattern with a wick at the bottom. It's looking quite good to potentially move a little bit up, hopefully back into the pattern. Global Atomic, getting a teeny wick at the bottom. This is an ascending wedge. It broke the wedge to the downside with a bearish engulfing pattern. We pulled on back, and now I'm just looking for indications of when this is going to stop. We do have some support through here where it's at, where it could potentially turn upward. Looking at Forces Metals, yep, getting a lot of strong selling pressure, finishing strong, lots of momentum, good volume. Yeah, this could head lower. Very well could head lower. This could be let me back out here, kind of a breakout move, and then we might get a full retest, guys. We might come back and retest and have another great buying opportunity in a lot of these companies. Pure Point Uranium, a little bit of a down day. That's pretty much a win when looking at these other companies in the sector. Looking at Deep Yellow, yeah, it's a down day. We're right at support. Little wick at the bottom. Hopefully we can get some buyers step in and buy it back up. Paladin, a little bit of selling pressure today. A bearish engulfing means you're going to head lower the next day, and that's what we did, is we headed lower. Sky Harbor, basically a flat day. I mean, it's down 3.72%, but it got bought back up off the bottoms, so that's good. A little bit of, good news there. This thing's still selling off. Next Gen Energy, and it's breaking below its support line. We could see a larger consolidation pullback ahead of us, potentially. Looking at Canalaska Uranium, we're just chopping sideways here. Yeah, we're down today. Kind of the sideways chop. We've got baseload energy getting sold off today a little bit more. At least we got a little wick at the bottom. Wicks means that they traded down and then they came back up with the momentum coming to the upside off the end of the day. Fission 3.0 Corporation selling off. So we're right at support. I don't know if this support will hold, so we might have to go to this major support underneath it. Could be yeah. Fission, this doesn't look good to me. I mean, we're breaking to the downside with pretty good volume and price action. A good opening and closing price on this candlestick. It's pretty strong. And we're also breaking out of this ascending wedge pattern. We could see further downside in Fission Uranium Corp. Camco, looks like that thing's breaking to the downside. I can just kind of, I mean, here's kind of the pattern there. We're right there. Looking at this kind of looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder. If you come across that way, it looks like we could potentially break to the downside. We do have a lot of selling pressure today. Volume is okay, and we're right at that resistance line, so we'll see if it holds. Kazakhstan Prom, this one doesn't look too bad, actually. This is a bullish hammer pattern. It's coming down. We've got bullish engulfing, and then another hammer pattern. This is probably going to go higher, maybe. Peninsula Energy, just chopping sideways. Not really much to say there. Boss Energy, bearish engulfing. We could head a little bit lower. We've got one here, big selling pressure, and another one here. Lotus Resources getting sold off a little bit today, 6.77%. We're kind of right at this support zone underneath it. So you have a little bit of support underneath it. UROY getting sold off. This is like, just looking at this, I mean, on the right-hand shoulder here of a shoulder, head, shoulder with the neckline going across, bearish engulfing, or bearish piercing, bearish engulfing, and this looks like it wants to head lower, guys. Definitely broken the uptrend line. You could see a further pullback in UROY. Looking at Encore Energy, a little bit of life here with the little wick at the bottom, but it's still a pretty strong down day today with a little wick at the bottom. So hopefully the momentum can hold this thing and push this thing higher off this bottom close. It's still pulling back, guys. I still think that, this could pull back a good amount lower. So it looks kind of like a shoulder, a shoulder, head, shoulder, with the neckline being right here. Your projected move is basically that, down to 397, about $4 is your projected move if it continues and breaks out of this pattern. URG, looking at that, it's still in pullback mode, but it's still inside the pattern. UEC, more pullback mode. It has broken this uptrend line. It's got kind of a shoulder, head, shoulder, and it could come back even some more than where it's from or where it's at. This is Centrus Energy. Again, more sell-off today. We're continuing to sell off in a lot of these companies, and we got to find buyers. The buyers aren't there. People are scared. Lightbridge is putting in a hammer pattern. The hammer is usually a reversal pattern to turn it and move on up. We're right at support as well. ISO Energy getting a lot more sell-off here. This could go down quite a bit, guys. Here's your uptrend line. It's selling off, and we're coming up to a resistance line right below it. Appy Energy getting sold off today. Again, it's not looking strong. It's coming from the downside, consolidated, and usually they break to the downside. It's the momentum from before is usually what continues. DNN, Denison Mines, getting sold off a little bit. It's got an upward channel that we're breaking to the downside. Blue Sky Uranium's breaking to the downside. This is its long-term uptrend line that is breaking. And it looks like we could potentially head lower. Forum Energy Metals, I would say that, a hammer pattern, that's usually a reversal candlestick to potentially try to head higher. So that one looks good. AEC, very low, up day today, kind of bucking the trend. So that one looks okay. It's good. Laramide selling off today. It's breaking its ascending wedge pattern to the downside. We could see further downside of this pattern. Western Uranium and Vanadium Corp, again, getting a little bit of a sell-off today. We do have a little wick at the bottom. So it doesn't, it's a strong sell-off. But hopefully we can find some buyers where it's at right now. UEX, Corp selling off today. Strong selling pressure, finishing quite strong. This, I would say, has the potential to go lower. You know, if I were to kind of tie this all in here, something like that. And what I don't like seeing is you see these things, they come up, they break, they do a retest move, and then they break lower. So that's not looking too hot. And Mega Uranium, it's going to be starting to play with its uptrend line as well. If it sells off some more, I mean, we could see a little bit more of a sell-off in Mega Uranium. So overall, guys, in the uranium sector, it's looking quite weak. We're breaking up trend lines to the downside. It looks like we could have a further pullback than what we're experiencing. Large selling pressure, a lot. You know, some of the ones have candlesticks on the bottom, the wicks. Sometimes that means that the momentum came down and it came back up. But there's a lot that also closed quite strongly to the downside. So to me, it looks like we're still in the middle of a pullback. That we could see further downside, and that better buying opportunities are ahead of us. I am quite strong in the thesis. I think that this is all short term. So whatever weakness we see is going to be short term noise, but that's kind of how I'm viewing it. We could see a pullback here. I think the overall market's going to pull back, and it's going to drag the uranium sector with it, along with other commodity sectors. Once it bottoms, whenever that is, we'll see it on the channel. I'm going to add some more money. That's what I'm going to do to my favorite companies, and hopefully we get a really good buying opportunity out of this. And if we do, and I take advantage of it, it just means that we're going to make more money in the eventual commodity bull market when all this plays out. But again, we could be in a little bit larger consolidation pullback period. And I know a lot of people don't like going through them, but you know what? That's what the market does. It moves like the big first wave, it does a consolidation period, and then it's going to do a big third wave. So in order to get to the big moves, which the biggest is the third wave, we have to go through that transition from the first wave to the third wave. And it usually has a pullback, an ABC correction. And this could also be kind of a larger overall correction too. At kind of an end move, we had the big first wave, and then we have this bigger large correction, and then we go into a massive third wave. So that's probably where we're at. That's kind of my guess. I think we are still very early in the bull market. I'm thinking like first inning still. So we're super early. I think it'll last for probably 10 years or more. At least the liquidity from the expansion phase of real estate will. And we'll have to see what happens. But the sellers are still out there, guys. They're still out there. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.